Children, now we will study about the nitrogen cycle. You had studied the carbon cycle and oxygen cycle. Therein we had seen that the biotic and abiotic components are transferred from one to the other. In this way, both are very closely related or used in the transfer process. The same occurs in the nitrogen cycle also. You know, the nitrogen cycle is very important because nitrogen forms 78%, that is maximum portion of the atmosphere. Yes, air contains 78% of the nitrogen, and it is very necessary for the maintenance of cycles in the nature. Nitrogen plays a very important role in life, and that's why the amount of that more amount of nitrogen is very necessary. And as nitrogen is present in more amount, its recycling also plays a very important role. Again, that circulation and recycling of nitrogen gas into the form of different compounds through various biotic and abiotic process is called nitrogen cycle. Are you getting what it is said? The cycling of nitrogen gas, nitrogen gas is present in the atmosphere. From that, this oxygen is trapped, it is in abiotic form, it is trapped, and then it is converted into the different compounds, sometimes in the biotic or sometimes in the abiotic form. And these various biotic and abiotic processes occurs in the nitrogen cycle. All organisms participate in nitrogen cycle. It is an important component of proteins and nucleic acid. Proteins build our body strong, and that proteins, the important component of the protein is the nitrogen. That's why, as compared to other element, nitrogen is a very important element, but it is inactive. Means it is inactive, not so reactive like oxygen, and that's why it does not combine easily with other elements. Okay, though it is present in more amount, very important thing that it is inactive and is not forming the compound with some more elements. Most organisms cannot use the free form of nitrogen. That's why its amount is maintained, and it is very necessary to maintain the amount. So how that cyclic flow of nitrogen occurs in the nature? Just now I will explain you. See here the various processes. Nitrogen gas, which is present in the atmosphere, what is its percentage? 78%. This nitrogen from the atmosphere, it is fixed on the earth. So how that nitrogen fixation process takes place? That nitrogen from the atmosphere, it is converted into nitrates and the nitrates. That nitrogen from the atmosphere is fixed in the soil to convert it into nitrates and the nitrates through atmospheric, industrial and the biological process. Means from the atmosphere, the nitrogen, when it combines with some other substances, the ammonia is formed. Okay, it forms the ammonia. And in industrial also, when nitrogen is used, in many of the cooling, nitrogen is a cooling substance. So in nitrogen is used in industries. So when that nitrogen is used in the industries, that forms the compounds of a nitrogen. Means that is also the nitrogen fixation and biological process, that is a bacteria, denitrifying bacteria, uh, azotobacter or some other bacteria has a capacity, mean a bacteria which is present in the root nodules, they can fix the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil to convert it into nitrates and the nitrites. Okay, this is the conversion of nitrogen gas into the nitrites by the process of nitrogen fixation. The next process is ammonification. What is that ammonification? You know, ammonia. Release of ammonia through decomposition of dead bodies and the excretory waste of organisms. You know, the bad smelling substance is nothing but it is a ammonia. After the decomposition of organisms, when dead bodies they decompose or the organisms are giving out the waste products, the bad smell that is coming is nothing but it is ammonia which is released in the form of gas, that is called as ammonification, formation of ammonia or release of ammonia. Then nitrification. So conversion of this ammonia, whatever ammonia that is released, again it has to convert because it is a cyclic process. That ammonia is converted into nitrites and then into nitrates. Nitrates NO3, nitrites NO2 or NO. Okay. Then this ammonia converts into by the nitrification process. It is converted, ammonia is converted into the compounds of nitrogen, that is nitrites and nitrates. After that, when it is fixed in the soil, these nitrates and nitrites they are used by the plants as a fertilizer. Okay. Then after nitrification, next is denitrification. Conversion of nitrogen compounds into the gaseous nitrogen. These nitrates and nitrites in the form of compounds are used by the plant. Plants grow which contains the proteins. Do you know? Plants when they grow, the constituents of they are our food. Plants is our food, and that food contains the carbohydrates, proteins and fats. Out of that, proteins contain more amount of nitrogen, that is called as denitrification. Nitrogen is released, obtained, and thus it is released into the atmosphere in the form of, from after breaking it from nitrogenous compounds to nitrogen, that is denitrification, it is released into the atmosphere in the form of gas. See this cyclic process. Nitrogen gas is fixed into the by nitrogen fixation, that is through atmospheric, industrial and biological process. Then ammonification, formation of ammonia by decomposition of dead bodies and the excretory waste substances. Then nitrification, formation of nitrates and nitrites, nitrogenous compounds, and then used by the plants. And then denitrification, that is plants proteins contain, that is released into the atmosphere again in the form of nitrogen gas. This is the cyclic process of nitrogen, and that's why it is called as a nitrogen cycle. Are you clear about this, children? I hope you understood. Try to read the lesson. Okay, read the lesson again and again. If any doubt is there, you can ask. In the next period, we will start the exercise. Okay, I hope you may have learned the previous lesson, and after that you have to learn this also. After finishing the lesson, I will give you again the test. Thank you.